kick off, we did a Trusted Land carried out a brief poll a few weeks ago, and we were looking at what people are doing differently now in terms of the developer side, in terms of the stakeholder side, in terms of all those who have an interest in working with the SME development space. And 77% of industry professionals said they were doing more DD online than they were doing previously, mostly because they weren't able to sit in front of people as often. They were also feeling that in place of a Zoom meeting that they wanted to do more sort of background before they had those first meetings, before the allocated time. And if they were going to go meet people, they wanted to understand more about them beforehand. Maybe we can just go around and talk a little bit about your experiences. Alex, maybe starting with you.
Sure.
What has changed at Cushman Wakefield in terms of your process of getting to know your clients?
Sure, loads. I think is the quick and easy answer is a lot has changed from our perspective. Time is very valuable at the moment, and I think that's probably the most critical thing to say. In an organisation such as Cushman Wakefield, we have lots of resourcing conversations the entire time. Getting to know new clients is time well spent, of course it is, but it's also, it can sometimes be not time well spent. So to ensure that that time is the most effectively deployed in a time of challenges like we are in now, then the background checks, the DD, the checking on company's house to see who or what or whatever these people are involved in if you haven't come across them before, a simple website check to see what's of interest on their website, if they have a credible website indeed. In terms of formal processes, Cushman & Wakefield haven't changed a formal process. There is nothing that the business has imposed upon us. I think knowing that time is precious, that's where the management of that time is really, really important. And garnering new clients in this current climate is, it's a risk. I think that's probably the biggest way of phrasing it. It's a risk.
Okay. And Paul, obviously from your perspective, you're backing these developments, you're backing the final product. You've obviously been working in this space for a long time and you've got a very solid process in place. What has changed for BuildZone in terms of understanding who they're potentially going to be providing warranties for?
To be honest with you, I mean, it hasn't actually changed what we do very much, because we have a long-term situation with our clients, which is not only the build period, but also for the 10 or 12 years, because obviously the policy runs for that length of time, which could include claims and all that situation. So it's just made life a little more difficult, because of obviously during the build process, we have to go through inspections and communicate and things like that with the client, because obviously if there are issues with the building, because we like to form part of the team, but you obviously want to get things like remediation notices out quickly so they can get them sorted, bearing in mind materials can be an issue, labour can be an issue and everything else like that. But essentially what we do now is exactly the same as we did pre-COVID, because we have to take all due diligence measures because we're taking on clients for long term.
So I presume there's quite a lot of robust processes in place before COVID as well. Obviously, it's just maybe slightly less time in the face-to-face environments as well. Do you, in your business, do you spend a lot of time face-to-face with your clients, or is it more about getting the kind of commercial material together?
There's two sides to it, really. One is obviously the client side, and the other is the underwriting side. The client side, I mean, I think in all development surveying, I was in surveying, my father was an architect. The personal thing is so important in our industry. To wit, we like to see the whites of the eyes. We want to be part of somebody's team. We want to be there to help them through. I mean, bearing in mind, we came through the self-build industry. That's how we started and grew into the commercial world. It's all about looking after people, helping clients through their project. So you miss that interaction. But of course, where we've gone is we've actually set up, because we're down in Sevenoaks, so everybody drives into my office. We're unique in as much that I haven't got staff coming in on public transport, so we can maintain that team there very carefully. So people can still come and see us literally round a table using the web and discuss their project with technical underwriting all at the same time, literally face to face. And we're just about to launch that into the developer world. So we're trying to make it easier for everybody to maintain that personal connection.
Okay, and we'll touch on the subject of sort of doing these kind of meetings, you know, doing roundtables, virtual roundtables with your clients or prospective clients or potential bidders later on. Jan, you guys, Blend Network, have been involved in lending tens of millions of pounds to developers, and there's a lot of reputational risk in terms of you putting forward developers. In terms of new inquiries, how are you looking at developers that are coming forward now with projects, and how are you getting to know them? And has that changed? You know, so as we discussed with Paul, has it changed since COVID?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, people are traveling less, and we used to spend a lot of time on the origination side. Originators were traveling all over the country the whole time, meeting property developers. So the fact now people are happy to use Zoom or other platform like Zoom for initial stage makes our life much more efficient, because they're going to spend maybe on a deal that's not going to happen. We're only going to spend 15-30 minutes max rather than travel and longer meetings. And so it makes our initial stage a lot more efficient. But clearly, if the deal goes ahead, we always still go and visit the site and meet the developers. We think it's a key thing to the due diligence. That's probably something very different to the SME lending. We think it cannot be fully automated, like, you know, an SME loans where you have a lot of data you can find online. We still need to see the site and get a feel for the project, basically.